Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, it's Captain Invisible here, and welcome to something very new and very special to my channel. This is my first ever battle replay that I'm going to post up for Total War Rome 2. I'm not an expert at Rome 2, I certainly don't play it enough, and I've only really played maybe a couple of, well, maybe just over 100 games online throughout me first getting it, and even then it's changed so much since I last played it that it feels like a new game to me. But yeah, I do have a couple of replays, and we shall just get into one straight off. This was a 2 versus 2. Where I play as Sparta and my ally Telemnar plays as Rome, and we are up against Malsak, who is playing as Macedon, and Mrowa. Yeah, I do apologise if I pronounce your names wrong, but it sounds like Mrowa. Just the way the M and the R are together, it's slightly confusing, but we shall get into the replay, and you can probably on the screen now. I can just go over it quite quickly actually for you. General is in its Sparta can bring 3 units of Cretan archers, 2 of the Perioikoi spears, then I've got 6 and then 3 Spartan pikemen. Whilst we're waiting for Sparta. Sparta's just a very simple. They don't have any real melee infantry. They don't have any variety of cavalry, and they don't really have any variety of hoplites either. You get Spartan hoplites, citizen cavalry, no melee infantry, and if you want decent missiles, you either get Cretan archers or Rhodian slingers, and that's about it. There's no really real variety in the unit roster, and that can sometimes be a weakness. But in my opinion, for someone who's not sort of played the game enough to sort of get into the whole nitty gritty of the variety of factions and what units are best and what units you should avoid, Sparta is a good decent faction to play as, simply because you don't have that choice that may confuse you and make you bring the wrong units. So for this army, I know that Spartan hoplites are very good hoplite units. I know that Cretan archers are elite archer units. I know that, well, it doesn't matter whether I know that citizen cav are cheap cavalry. They're the only cavalry Sparta can bring, except for the missile skirmishing cavalry, which I don't have the micromanagement to be able to use those effectively, so I have to sort of stick with citizen cavalry if I want cavalry. And then pikemen. I've not had the best of luck with pikemen in this game. I seem to forget them sometimes, and they end up getting themselves killed by missiles or outflanked and things. But I was hoping that if I had 3 in the centre and then some Spartan hoplites on the flanks, they'll be fairly well protected against being outflanked. And then my general, I decided to put him in a Heroes of Sparta unit because it's slightly cheaper, and even though there's half sort of a lower man count in this unit, it's still a really effective unit of Spartans. Plus they look cool with their little weird head dressings. Before I get into this battle, I want to just say that my laptop that I play this game on isn't well optimised to play Rome 2, so the graphics are going to be fairly meh, and there might be some game stutter and game lag, especially in 2 versus 2 games, so I'll apologise for that in advance. But it will happen in a lot of my games that I play online, and it'll very possibly happen in the recording as well. I don't know what the what the outcome will be, how it'll look on YouTube. So just bear with me on that. It's just that my laptop's not optimised for Rome 2. But I thought I'd get something out that was a little bit different from Medieval 2 Total War, just to give you all some new and exciting content to view, and hopefully please some other viewers that may watch Rome 2 videos more than Medieval 2 Total War. So yeah, as I say, my ally was Telemnar, and he's brought Rome, and he's got 3 units of auxiliary Balearic slingers in the front, with a front line of armoured legionaries. Yep, there's 6 of them, I believe. He's got 2 units of first cohorts, which are going to be able to support the morale of his troops. And his general is in a legatus. And for cavalry, he's got 4 units of legionary cavalry. So as far as I'm aware, this is a fairly standard Roman build. There's nothing nothing surprising with it. It's just got a heavy core of swords, a decent skirmishing component, and then just some cavalry just to tie down any enemy cavalry. So we'll jump across to the Seleucids. In the front, he's got 3 units of these Syrian heavy archers, which are not a bad archer unit. Compared to the Cretan archers and the sort of Balearic slingers, well, slingers work differently to archers anyway, but I think the Cretans could give these guys a run for their money, but they are still pretty good. They're slightly cheaper than the Cretans as well. Behind them, in support, he's got 3 units of pikemen, so he's hoping to do the same as me, to block the front with some pike units. And then behind them, he's got 5 units of thorax swordsmen, which, as far as I'm aware, are the the standard sword unit in the game. They're not too great, but not too bad either. They're kind of fairly decent. They're kind of I want to say the feudal knights of the Roman world. Sort of the standard sword unit. Most factions have them, so they're fairly well rounded. In support of his infantry line, he's got a unit of Thureos spears, which can throw javelins before they charge. They can sort of expend javelins into the enemy and then charge in with spears. So they're kind of like a skirmishing hoplite unit. Then he's got a unit of hillmen, and he's got a unit of silver shield pikemen, which are the elite pike units of the Seleucid forces. On this flank, he's got 2 units of Median cavalry, or median cavalry. I naturally want to say median cavalry, because it makes me think of middle cavalry, which these guys basically are. They're kind of a middle of the road cavalry unit. Again, not too great, but not too bad either. Then on this flank, he's got a unit of scythed chariots. So those guys will be quite scary if we can get them into the flank of the Roman army. And we'll take a quick look at Macedon. He's got 4 units of standard archers at his front. Then he's got a very mixed and a bit strange infantry line here. He's got 2 units of Thureos spears on this flank. He's got a thorax swordsman in the centre, and then 4 units of shield bearers, which are kind of elite hoplites. Probably comparable, if not slightly better, to my Spartan hoplites. Very expensive though, these guys. Certainly more so than my Spartan hoplites. Just behind them, he's got 3 units of mercenary 3, and then on this flank he's got 2 units of royal peltasts, which again, like the Thuros spears, can expend some javelins into the enemy forces before they charge in with short swords. So those are the armies. So we can begin this battle and see how well it plays out. So I think me and Telemnar were looking to get aggressive in this battle. We wanted to really push on these forces, because I believe his swords are superior to the thorax swordsman, and I was confident that my Spartans could do well in a very aggressive push against the Macedonian forces. So I see Macedon moving this way, more to my left flank, which I don't know whether he was just wanting to draw me out this way, or whether he was trying to position on my flank, possibly due to my pikemen. But I'm not going to let him just move onto my flank. I'm going to mirror his movements and kind of move to face him head on, which is what the Spartans like to do. They like to face their enemies face to face, head on, in a big wall they call a phalanx. So yeah, I make an aggressive push towards the Macedonian player. So yeah, I've not played this game a lot in the past, and certainly they've updated it since I've last played it. So I'm not sure which units are sort of better, which units they've changed, which units they've improved. So yeah, I'm not too knowledgeable with that, but yeah, I know that the Spartans have always been known for their hoplites, and they got a buff not too long ago. The Spartan hoplites got an improvement, so I was keen to use them and see how they fared against more sword-based armies, and against these elite shield-bearer hoplites. So yeah, it's just a case of making an aggressive push towards Macedon and hopefully getting my missile units in range. The Seleucids has taken a more defensive stance. He's got his thorax swordsman over here protecting his left flank along with the cavalry, and he's got a unit of Thuros spears in square formation on this flank, just to help defend his pike line, which is holding up the centre. So it looks like we exchange a bit of missile fire, and then I'm going to rush in. I think the Macedonian archers start targeting my Spartan hoplites, but because they have heavy armour and these large shields, the archers are going to do pretty much nothing to them. My Spartans are going to be able to push through this missile fire and just ricochet off the shields. As you can see, all the arrows just bouncing off, whilst my own archers are destroying his lightly armoured archer units. So we're going to rush into these shield bearer units. It's going to be a massive clash in the centre, and then I'm going to immediately put them into hoplite phalanx to help them hold against these shield bearers. I need them to hold this flank as much as possible, whilst I start wrapping up on this flank against these mercenary Thracian warriors with my cavalry and these perioikoi spear units. And then as soon as I've cleared this flank, I'll be able to charge around and start messing with his back lines. And I do some charges against these royal peltasts on this flank, which don't seem to have noticed that they've got Spartans charging into their flank. Maybe I have to stop them before they expend any javelins against me. Although these guys are going to get some javelins in. So yeah, we've tied down this flank and we've tied down the other flank. We've got the general fighting on this flank against our Spartan hoplites. So with both flanks tied down, we can then push up with our pikemen. Unfortunately, I think this one gets a bit too close to all the javelin fire and ends up taking a lot of javelins to the face. And with these mercenary Thracian warriors charging into its flank, I think it's not going to last too long. But the other two should be able to get in okay and tie down all these infantry units. So it looks like we've cleared up on this flank, and we're going to be able to now push around and start doing some rear charges, which is what I initially wanted to do. Whilst these Spartans hold these guys in place. And we can do the same on this flank. We're going to get some perikoi spears to throw some javelins into the back of these units. We've got some cavalry to do some rear charges against some of these royal paltasts. And as you can see, even weak cavalry can do some damage to these guys. Most of these guys might be able to get back up, but the mass of the charge and the disruption they cause will help my Spartans fight off those royal paltas units. My general has got stuck into some of these mercenary Thracian warriors, and he's going to be able to do quite well in this kind of fight. These mercenary Thracian warriors just don't have the defences to be able to hold out against these Spartan spears. And just bear with me, I just need to reduce these sounds a bit. They sound really loud in my headset, so I'll just reduce that slightly, and we can begin the battle again. So yeah, I was just saying that my Heroes of Sparta unit can tank out these Thracian warriors. We've got some Thuros spears coming round here to possibly javelin some of my pikemen in the back. So my freed up cavalry is doing some strikes against these shield bearers. Being a medieval 2 Total War player, I do appreciate cavalry, but I do understand that it's limited in use in this game against spear units. So I'm definitely careful to make sure I only attack units in the back with them, and not just completely smash them from the front. So my pikemen have pinned the centre down finally. This one does have Thuros spears in its back, but it is still killing off these thorax swordsmen fairly easily. At least it's at least holding them in place whilst my other units do their work. And in a second, I think I get my archers to start firing at this Thuros spear unit from the flank. They currently look like they're doing nothing, and some of these other ones are firing into this fight over here, where my general is, which is a bit bad on my part. Don't want to kill off my own general. So another quick cavalry charge into these thorax swordsmen. And as you can see, the massive cavalry in this game, it just completely smashes through units that aren't braced. So yeah, I still have a respect for cavalry in this game, but I do realise they're not the tanks that they were in medieval 2 Total War, where they would just sort of walk straight over infantry units on the charge. Yes, so some more great cavalry strikes, and this actually causes these thorax swordsmen to waver and possibly break. in a second. My Spartans on this flank were struggling against these Royal Paltasts. Hoplites just don't do too well against sword units, but they are holding the thorax swordsmen, the Royal Paltasts, in place long enough for me to be able to get support in. I charged into the rear of these ones with my so I charged these Perioikoi spears into the back of this Royal Paltast, and that seems to have stabilised this Spartan hoplite unit, which is still going to fight for a bit longer whilst we have it surrounded. My general is tanking out these units. It's taking out these Theros spears, and then it'll be able to support possibly on this flank with the other Spartan hoplites. My pikemen have destroyed the centre fight, the front line, and then we've got the Spartan hoplites still fighting these shield bearers. As hoplite battles go, they always seem to be very long and drawn out due to the defensive nature of hoplite units. Although we do have this general's unit in a sort of V shape of death here. I might want to get some cavalry charges in there as well, just to finish them off. Looks like Telemnar's doing well on his side. He's got these pikemen from the back, which is going to break them shortly. And then he's got all of these thorax swordsmen, these 5 units of thorax swordsmen trapped between armoured legionaries, which is not a place they would want to be in at all. As I say, they're not better than these armoured legionaries. The armoured legionaries are a much better sword unit, so that's a fight they definitely won't win, especially if surrounded. So we managed to break a unit of Royal Paltasts on this flank. My freed up Spartans will now be able to assist with this Royal Paltast unit that is still pinned against 26 Spartans and my Perioikoi spears. As I say, the centre's been cleaned up, and it's just this flank that needs to be dealt with. So with my freed up units of cavalry and my freed up general, I'll be able to run strikes on these units. His general's still in the fight. 85 men left. My hoplites are tanking him out quite well. These shield bearers are a better unit than my Spartan hoplites, but not by much. So it's going to be a very close fight, especially against 2 of them. So we get some cavalry strikes into this tied up shield bearer unit, and that's going to break this unit. The morale blow is going to cause it to break. And then there's just the Macedonian general fighting off the Spartans now. See if we can get some cinematic shots. You can see there's units over that side doing stuff, and I think at that point the general died, so his unit routed then. So good game to our opponents. We shall have a look at the battle results. So let's look at Telemnar's forces first. Can we do that? Yep. So we'll look at Telemnar's fight first. His legatus got 0 kills. Surprising, since he took damage. He must have taken some fire, some shock damage somewhere. Its cavalry not doing too bad. This unit did quite well, but Roman cav is mainly just there to defend its infantry. It was a historical weakness of the Romans to have weak cavalry. They usually got their cavalry from local tribes and didn't bother sort of training really effective cavalry units. His Balearic slingers getting loads and loads of kills. They must have really done work against maybe the pikemen and the Syrian archers. So great work with the Balearic slingers there. And then his Roman infantry not getting too many kills except for a couple of units. I kind of expect more from Roman infantry, but you know it did okay, especially considering that most of the kills probably went to the Balearic slingers. There probably wasn't anything left for these armoured legionaries, which don't have the casualties on these armoured legionaries are not that high, so they did well for considering that they haven't really lost any men in the units. And then these first cohorts were just there to support the morale. Compared with the Seleucid player, all of his units just did really, really terrible. Not to be mean on the Seleucid player at all, but I'm assuming that he is fairly new, considering that a lot of his units didn't perform as well as they probably should have. These scythe chariots could have done some real damage if we would have got them into the flank of the Roman force. And the Syrian archers are not to be sniffed at. They are a really good archer unit, and to get sort of 12 kills on them is not great. The reason these pikemen didn't get that many kills was probably down to the same reason why one of my Spartan pikemen got defeated. Didn't get any kills. It's possibly down to the fact that he was taking too much missile fire from these Balearic slingers. And yeah, these thorax swordsmen, as decent as they are, just cannot stand up to armoured legionaries of Rome. And then these median cav just probably got surrounded by these Roman cavalry because there was just too much of them. So it was a fairly okay build, but against Rome it just was the complete wrong build to bring, in my opinion, and it shows in the kills they got. Looks like Telemnar cleaned it up fairly quickly without taking too much losses there. Compared to mine and Macedon's fight, which was a bit closer, my heroes of Sparta, my general, getting 142 kills, so he tanked out both a Thracian warrior and a Thuros spear, so he was killing both of those units. My citizen cav not doing too bad. Got quite a few rear charges with a couple of these units, so that's where most of their kills came from. My Cretan archers doing the same as Telemnar's Balearic slingers, just tearing units up. Most of them were down to these archers, though. They were picking apart those archers like they were nothing. And they probably got some flanking shots in against, as I say, some of these Thuros spears as well that were trying to flank my units. My two Perioikoi spears getting 98 kills and 103 kills, so not too bad from them. They're quite a nice little unit, and they are fairly cheap, so definitely worth bringing for Sparta just to support the flanks. My Spartan hoplites not doing too bad. I would have preferred them to do a bit better. Maybe this unit was doing quite well, but they kind of did the job just to hold the enemy in place. So that's all I could have asked from them. They held the enemy in place. Then my citizen cavalry and my Cretan archers did the damage, which is what hoplites are there for, just to hold the enemy and let other units do the killing. This was the Spartan pikemen. This one was the one that got all the missile fire into it and routed after the mercenary Thracian warriors charged into its flank. But these two, this one especially, got loads and loads of kills, possibly against Thorax, the Thorax swordsman. Really, really taking its toll on those units. And then this one getting 46, but still has a couple of numbers left in it, so that one probably could have done a bit more damage. Compared with Macedon's kills, the archers just got shredded by my Cretan archers, so they got destroyed fairly quickly. These Royal Paltas should have done a lot better against my hoplites. We're tied up against my hoplites though, so and then I was able to get my javelins thrown in by these Perilikoi spears into their rear, so that contributed to their demise without getting too many kills against my very strong defensive hoplites. The Military Thracian warriors, this one did quite poor, but these two did okay. This one certainly did well for itself, possibly against the pikemen. But yeah, they're an interesting unit. If you can use them right, they do really well. Otherwise, you end up wasting your money because of the low armor and the low melee defense. They're gonna die fairly quickly if you don't use them correctly. The Therios spears doing okay again. 59 is not too bad for one, but they do have javelins, so they are quite a nice unit to bring anyway. The Thorax swordsman only getting 28. That's because it was pinned against a pike unit. Probably this one. So the Thorax swordsman got killed without really getting any kills. And then the shield bearer units should have got a lot more kills than this. I mean, 100's not too bad for a hoplite unit, and 75's okay, but these guys cost a lot of money. I think it's about 1,280 or something. It's around there, and they should get a lot more kills than that. Let's compare his highest 100 to my highest hoplite, which is 96 kills. My Spartan hoplites only cost 700, whereas his cost, as I say, 1,200 odd. So with that, it's a huge difference. Even to compare it to my my Heroes of Sparta, cost 980, I think. So for it to get 142 compared to 100 kills of this shield bearer unit, it's just not what you should be getting for units like this. And I mean, I know their main purpose is to hold the enemy, but they are an expensive unit just to hold the enemy in place. That's why I prefer the Spartan hoplites and the Thorax hoplites of Athens, because they are slightly cheaper, but they do the job of being able to hold the enemy in place and get kills at the same time. So that was my first look into Rome 2 online. If you would like to see more Rome 2 action, please let me know, and I shall strive to try and bring you some more battles. If you want to play me online, just send me a message and I'll happily see if I'm free to join your game. And as I say, I hope you enjoyed this battle. Check out Telemnar online as well. He's a really good player, and he's sort of shown me a lot about this game in the past. So I hope if you do see him online, catch a game with him. And as I say, I hope you enjoyed this battle, and I shall see you in future videos.